Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Relentless podcast. We're here today with Nick Mathew, not Matthews, right? It's just Nick
Not
Mathew.
Matthews, Matthew. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. This Googling you is difficult. And we're super anxious to hear from him. Qualified to the CrossFit Games for the second time. And yeah, how's it going? How's the training going?
Rookie no
Training's
more.
going good. Training's going good. We got less than 2 weeks to go of actual hard training, and yeah, it's coming down to the wire now.
Yeah, are you gonna taper off like a few days before? What's the protocol?
Normally I would have tapered off a little bit. I mean, we will obviously the week of the games like really like dial things back. We had kind of a plan going in, but I caught like a little bit of a cold, so it kind of delayed a little bit of my training last week.
Yeah.
So basically we're just backing it up a couple extra days. I'm going to train a little bit harder for an extra couple days and then use that to kind of taper back off afterwards, kind of the week of the games. So
all right. How's the season been going for you so far in total? Is the training, except for your cold now, how's it going?
Yeah, we're over it now. We're healed and better now. But overall, the season's been really good. I mean, we started off. I mean, do you want to go back to the Open? I mean,
sure.
Everything went fine throughout the Open. Can't remember exactly where I placed, but I mean,
you just got to get through it. You're at that level.
Exactly. Yeah, it was kind of just grind it out, get it done. I did want to put emphasis on like just doing it too, just to kind of see where I was at and give my best performance every time that I'm going out there.
Yeah.
Then we went into quarterfinals, got through that pretty good with a scare of a couple penalties and like things like that throughout, but with the V-up standard. But
yeah, that was fun.
Got through that, and I think I finished fourth in the West, and then went out to semis and took seventh there and got a nice comfortable spot for the games.
Yeah. What was the semis like? Did you like overall? Did it suit you well?
Yeah, overall it seemed really well. I don't know. I felt like it was a lot less stressful this year than like the Granite Games the last couple years. Sure. And I don't know if that's just like a mental change in terms of like more confidence going in, more belief in myself in terms of like the things that I've been doing and the work that I'm putting in. So going in, it was like, I'm just going to go out there, give it my best. And then after the first 2 days, I was already had a pretty high, comfortable point standing. So yeah, it wasn't as stressful going into like the last day of the workouts and the last event, where in the last 2 years, I've been battling for that cut line, that fifth and sixth place. So that was a much nicer way to go about it this year.
Yeah. Did you feel like since you qualified last year, did you feel like, okay, now I have to, qualify this year, or did you feel that pressure?
Yeah, definitely. There's a little bit of pressure, mainly because people, I mean, the word kind of went around of like flash in the pan last year, where I came in, I had a couple good events at the games, I got in on the backfill spot, and it just felt really good to kind of go in and put a hush to that. And I mean, I've been training for the games for almost 7 years now. So I mean, it's been a long journey anyway. So whether I got in with the backfill spot last year or this year would have been my first year, I was still going to be at the games.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you still doing bodybuilding stuff, or have you like thrown all that out of the window now?
Done what?
Have you thrown all bodybuilding stuff out of the window, only doing odd objects now, or how's training look like?
Well, maybe if Castro was still programming, that's how it would have been. But now with Bosman in there, we have a big blend of like a lot of different things. Yeah, I mean, I would say this year has been more diversified in the programming as to years in the past too. Like.
What do you expect from the games this year? Like, do you expect it to be technical, skill heavy?
For sure. Adding in a ton of different jump rope stuff, adding in a ton of different bar work. I mean, doing pullovers to muscle ups and like just and parallel bar traverses. There's just so much more to like work on and fine tune as opposed to years in the past.
I'm not going to ask you what, but have you been working on things that you're guessing they're going to throw in like a monkey wrench for the athletes this year? Have you been like trying different things? And
yeah, I guess I haven't really thought like looked into like what they could throw in. Other than I've seen everybody on Instagram like doing muscle ups on a yoke and stuff like that. So I pulled out the yoke the other day and I was like, okay, I'll just jump up and give it a go and see what happens. And but outside of that, I think one of my strengths is that I can adapt on the fly to like a lot of different movements, or I can kind of figure things out quick. I don't know if that has something to do with like my sports background and my upbringing in terms of a bunch of different sports. But yeah, I feel like I can adapt to kind of whatever is kind of coming up. So I think that's kind of one of my strengths.
Yeah, so that's like a personality trait. Like some people are just better at just, well, okay, do some, you know, semi-impulsive, just wing it kind of moves, while some people just get paralyzed. And it doesn't matter if it's on a competition floor or in life, you know.
Yep.
I also think it's like if you have been like brought up with gymnastics or martial arts, you know, you have been practicing your entire childhood doing things in reverse by having a teacher. You're set up in lines, and I don't think there's a reason why female gymnasts do so well at the CrossFit Games. I think because they adapt so well. I think it's because of their background. Not well. The hen and the egg, obviously, they got good at gymnastics for a reason, probably.
They got good shoulders.
But I think people having issues adapting probably haven't practiced at adapting.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, and I mean, I was a wrestler for 7 years.
Yeah, that's adapting. That's adapting.
So.
100% adapting.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, every movement, every position you have to adapt and know what to do next and know how to move. And yeah, I think there's definitely an element to that for sure.
What's your goals for this year's games?
Goals for this year's games, I wanna achieve. I mean,
you're gonna win it, man. Let's go.
It's hard. I'm trying not to put like a limiter on, because last year, like, if I would have put a limiter on, I would have been way behind what I actually ended up doing. I guess kind of the start was top 10 at the games. I would be ecstatic with top 5 at the games. And then, I mean, if everything goes 100% perfect, like hitting that podium.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. And it's fun. I'm aware, I'm realistic. I know there's things that I still need to work on and stuff like that too. And holes that I have that, I mean, could potentially come up. So, yeah, I would say top 10, top 5 if I'm really feeling good all weekend, and then podium if it's just a perfect performance all around.
Is there some specific weakness you've been working on since last year that you want to share?
Swimming was a big one last year compared to the games. But I don't think like the actual performance of swimming was as bad, but it was my headspace going into the swim. So over this last year, I think a lot of headspace stuff, like the mental side of things, has been something I've worked on. And then more specifically in terms of movements, yeah, like just being faster in the water or high volume gymnastics in a row. And I kind of broke down the events last year and went back with, okay, like what are like a few weaknesses and things that I need to work on, and what is a lot of it just mental going into the workout.
Yeah. Do you think it was like execution last year that would have stopped you from going even higher, or was it physical stuff or skills that sort of held you back?
Definitely. I mean, definitely both. Like I said, I was able to adapt to a lot of like the newer things that came out, but when it came to like just a standard CrossFit workout, that's where some of the holes would start to pop in. Like, but I mean, also like the workout that had front rack lunges, ring muscle ups, GHDs. Basically, my midline was so shot that made the front rack lunges at the end were just insanely hard. So something like that, where that is like a fitness thing where I can get better at doing that combo of muscle ups and GHDs, and then having a little bit left in the tank for the lunges. Yeah. But then I also, during that event, like part of the things that a lot of people like don't think about that athletes do when they're training is I didn't eat the best before that workout, because it was in between the capital and that workout last year. So I was kind of drained and I didn't really fuel myself properly going back into that event. So that's another thing that is going to be emphasized this year too.
Yeah. So have you sorted that with? Did you have a coach, a nutrition coach, prior to the last games?
I don't have a nutrition coach. I mean, the wife, she cooks basically all my meals and makes sure that I'm eating all my stuff properly. And
so you have a nutrition coach.
What was that?
So you have a nutrition coach.
Yeah. And then yeah, I've been a nutrition coach and personal trainer for over 10 years now too. So like I know what I need to be doing. It's just a matter of I needed to do it and not be lazy and actually get the food in last year.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, you know the saying, it doesn't matter. A coach needs a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and I mean, someone needs to, carry your gear and tell you when to eat, to piss, and everything. I guess it's
literally. Yep. Tell me when to relax. Tell me when to lay down. Yep.
Yeah. Where am I going to be? When? Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. Right.
Sorry. So what kind of mental preparation did you mentioned that you worked on your mental game? What kind of stuff did you do?
For medical, you said?
No, mental. You had
mental stuff.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah,
I thought you said medical stuff. I was dealing with pains and aches and pains too every day. So I mean that's a buzzword as well. No, it's just a matter of and this is, I think it's hard to go about it day to day. The day to day looks kind of like just not comparing myself to others, kind of like staying in my lane, making sure that the effort that I give is the effort that I can give each day. Like even if that's not 100%, like nobody's 100% training every single day throughout the week. You're never like always motivated, encouraged to do like my monostructural sessions at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. So it's a matter of just doing that and giving the best effort that I can put forward. And then with that compounded over the entire year, that's given me the confidence in my training to be like, okay, like going into the event, I've trained for this, I've prepared myself, and I'm ready. So, and that just kind of led over to just the confidence when I get into the workouts, confidence when I'm approaching the workouts or when they get released, and not second guessing myself or what's to come. Yeah.
So what's your,
sorry. I mean, the difference is all about, I mean, at your level, I mean, 5 to 15%, I think it's like how you perceive things, and obviously the things not only during the competition, but also, affecting your training during the year. When I did my hip surgery was it in March, February? I was down in Belgium. I was happy to share the room beside me, the world champion in wrestling, a guy from Sweden was there. So we spent 4 days, chit chatting, eating dinner, etc. We, became good friends. He shared a story on how he became a world champion. He analyzed the entire field of athletes and how much training they did, and then he calculated if he did, after each session they did 50 to 80 reps of strength exercises. So he calculated if he did 60 reps, he would do X% more than anybody else, and he also did 10 minutes of training more than anybody else, and he kept doing that for 3 years without telling anyone. He kept that to himself, and after 3 years, no one could keep up. That kind of that's grit. It's crazy to do that day in, day out, and I mean, after like 6 months, I would start bragging about it, wouldn't you? But he has kept it to himself.
Right.
It's an amazing guy, and I think, I mean, I just thought about that. People at that level, Karel and all these guys, they obviously they were physical monsters, but it goes so much into it, how you attack the game, mentally. If you go out on the floor and if you like embrace the audience instead of, looking down your lane and, drawing energy from your buddies and everyone rooting from you, and feeling that you belong there. I think it's so much into that. So how do you feel? Do you think there will be a difference walking out in your lane this year versus last year?
Definitely.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that was exactly it. Like, I think about it all the time. I'm like, everybody at the games, or like a majority of people at the games, have 300 snatch now. You know what I mean? Like, everybody can run sub 5 minute, 30-second miles. Everybody can do 15 to 20 unbroken ring muscle ups. And like the physical aspect, like everybody's within inches of each other with. So it's a matter of like, okay, like how do you put it together when it's competition day, when you're in that lane, when the buzzer says 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
And yeah, this year's going to be a lot different. I mean, even after the games and after Rogue and after Wadapalooza last year, like all of it was like still like, and it took a lot of repetition of that too to convince myself that I'm like, okay, I do belong. Like this is, yeah, the mental side of things. So yeah, this year's going to be entirely different than last year was. I'm going to attack every workout as if, I mean, it's just what we do. It's just fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I have to tap into that a little bit. I think we're onto something. I think that most of the top 30 in the world in CrossFit are getting quite equal physically now. Like the sport is maturing more and more and more. There are some outliers in certain fields, but it's more and more about execution and the mental game than just how much can you lift and how fast, basically.
Yeah.
So being a rookie is gonna be. I mean, some people just have it. But being there for the second time, having all that experience is going to do tremendous amounts.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what, I think there's something with that, with like just kind of momentum carrying that for other athletes in this space too, that have been there 4, 5, 6 years and continue to re-qualify year after year after year and have been in the sport forever. Like they know they belong. They know what they have to do to get there. They know how fit they need to be.
Yeah.
They know what things they need to be fit at. And then once they get there, they know they belong. They have that mental edge on people coming in too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a way underrated part. Like when people are, I mean, even in the last like 4, 5, 6 years that I've been training, or like when I started out, the first 4, 5, 6 years was that part. Like, sure, I might have been fit enough to qualify for the games maybe a few years, like 3 years ago, when I took 6th at Granite Games. But it was kind of the headspace going from workout to workout, or when the workout gets released, are you dreading it? Are you like immediately counting yourself out? And then it's just not going to help you very well when you're already doubting yourself. So.
Yeah, and I mean, and everything. I mean, the atmosphere, the environment, etc. Now it's known for you. I mean, last year probably you got. I mean, I would guess that you get I wouldn't say overwhelmed, but it's a lot of impressions. You know, you see all your, you know, you have probably your idols, you have friends, you have, you know, that coach, you know, everywhere. All these things are impressions, and I think, you know, that impacts when you're new at the scenery, I guess. And if you've been there for like 4 years, I mean, you know where the bathrooms are, right? You know, so,
exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah. No,
yeah.
totally.
I think that's probably, if you would guess. Speaking of this, do you think like at what point do you think that you're having enough experience? You know, how many appearances would you guess would be like optimal to, you know, to be able to like execute it? I mean, if you've been here for like 8 years, you're probably, you know, you're probably also like almost retiring. Would you say like 1, 2, 3 times? Where do you think like the sweet spot is? I mean, maintaining that hungriness and, you know, but still have the required experience.
Like when you actually get to the games?
I mean,
or just in general?
Yeah, in general, if you would guess.
In general with like, yeah, I would say obviously being a rookie or like going into a first competition, for those that relate to that too, like, yeah, it is nerve-wracking when you first do it. And that's one of the things they say too when you're kind of coming up is, get into competitions, get a feel of it. You can't just train in your comfortable gym every single day and expect to perform on the floor with different barbells, different scenery, different viewpoints, like when you're doing your Olympic lifting and just different scenarios in general. Sweet spot, I don't know, maybe, I'd say like year 2, year 3, because you're still fired up to be there. You're still hungry. You're not comfortable. You don't really have like a limit on yourself in terms of like, oh, this is as good as I'm gonna get kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that
Get a little
that,
set in your ways.
that creeps in people's heads, I think, sometimes too. Like, nobody's perfect, and I think sometimes if you have like a performance where you're like up one year, down the next year, up the next year, down the next year, like you can kind of get in your head and be like, oh, this is as good as I'm gonna get. And you know, and I've gone through those too with like Granite Games. Like, is 5th and 6th place all that I'm gonna get, or is 6th place all that I'm gonna get, and never end up qualifying? Am I just gonna be a bubble athlete forever? So,
yeah. I have a friend that, you know, he came 8th, you know, for like 5 years at regionals. It's like, it's 8th. Is that my, you know, is that my spot?
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
the curse.
But there's so many factors playing in, so you're basically unlucky to get 8th and not higher. It's like unreasonably, like you have to just be unlucky, because if you can get to 8th, you gotta have a year where you bounce up because of programming, or the competitors have an off day, or whatever. There's so many factors playing in.
There's just so many factors that go into it.
Yeah, so many factors.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite type of test?
Favorite type of test?
Mm-hmm.
I like tests where there's not a lot of preparation that people get beforehand.
You want to use your advantage of
I want to use my advantage, my adaptation. I want them to like release the workout 3 hours before, and then we go and do it.
Yeah.
Yep. Then we go warm up, eat, fuel for it, and then just go out and do it. And I think that's what kind of happened. The skill medley last year was they released that the same day that we did it, and people didn't get 4, 5, 6 months to strategically narrow their windows on transitions and all that stuff. It was just like, okay, just go out and do it and see who can do it.
So in
versus
this
like
sense,
semifinals.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in this sense, semis are like bad for you in that sense.
Yeah, in a sense that would have not been. I would have almost preferred the East, because it was like we didn't get any time to work on them. It was just kind of go out there and see what you can do. I struggle with like the strategic part of it, and like sitting there, and I'm not one that's a workout's gonna come out and I'm gonna repeat it 1,000 times to try to like edge my score out by 1 second.
Boring.
Or repeat open workouts like to get your best score. Like, I've had my time of kind of when I was like at the beginning of CrossFit, and I was still trying to like even get to regionals, so I'd like repeat the workout 3 times throughout the open to try to make the top 40 or whatever. But now I'm a one and done. I like to just do it once, get a feel for it, and it's off.
So I did in 2012, talking about repeating prior to regionals. I was at regionals in 2012, and and we had the workouts released 6 weeks prior. You know, it was crazy long time to practice. So it was this particular workout was, sort of like a hundreds workout, 100 pull-ups, hundreds, all these things, a big chipper. I have done it so many times, doing exactly this, like you're talking about, edging out seconds. And I had my strategy clear, but standing on the starting mat, a Finnish buddy of mine next to me, I was like, what's up? How gonna play it? He was like, I'm broken. And I was like, yeah, me too. So I changed my strategy right there. Right. Like, I practiced my strategy for 6 weeks, and I still threw it out the window.
All throws out the window there. Yeah, for sure.
That workout didn't go well. It was like, that was
I gotta go back and look at the footage now.
Yeah, right. I want to go watch now. I'm gonna go watch 2012.
It was. I can tell you, I was in the final heat with all the good guys back then. But and it was me, the head judge, and the judge standing there. I was cramping everywhere, because I started up with 50 back squats unbroken. I did that. So I was like, I just went straight into straight into the red line zone. What is that? I was so hammered. I couldn't get 30 kg off the floor.
I have nothing
to watch. Nothing to watch.
Oh yeah.
And then essentially that last 6 weeks that you were practicing, it was like
waste of
Yeah.
time.
Very strategic, trying to get every edge, like stressing out about it a lot, and then
exactly. So I think I had like, you know, my goal was to get like 60 minutes, 30 seconds or something in that workout. And I think I finished in like 27 minutes or something, you know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
A little bit off practice time.
It's a tiny bit.
Yeah. But anyway, so I've been probably stress-wise, it would have been much better having your approach, I think. Yeah. So sorry for sidetracking.
That was a good sidetrack.
No,
We're keeping it. That's a reel right there.
Yeah.
By the way, when you get this, like they release the event really late, and it is some kind of curveball in there. How do you feel? Do you feel like, would you feel this year like, oh no, this is, now they're going to talk about me. Now they're going to say, this is Nick Mathew. He's going to get this because this is
not
the one.
Matthews.
And exactly. Oh, it was Mathew.
Yeah, right. With the S on the end, for sure.
What's wrong with you?
Oh, yeah.
There's many things wrong with me. But anyway, like, do you feel that now, like when it comes to Wheelhouse event, that, oh no, now they're talking about me, now I have to perform, or is that not a thing?
Not really. I'm pretty good at eliminating things that, like, just in my life in general, that if it gives me stress, I'm pretty good at like just kind of dispersing that. Or if somebody puts, like, in terms of fitness, like the pressure on, like, people could have said that I had pressure on too at the games last year, but honestly, the games, I felt no pressure all last year going through it. I got the backfill spot and people were like, oh, what's he going to do? And whatever, but I was able to just move through it. And then same thing when it came to semifinals, is like, oh, again, what's the pressure like going to be for me, like trying to re-qualify my second year? And again, the pressure was nowhere near it's been in years past. So even if the event came up where it was the Wheelhouse, blah, 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 like, I mean, it depends on, I mean, there's so many factors in it that you can't just narrow it down to, like, oh, am I just going to perform good? It's like, okay, did I fuel properly? Like, am my legs going to cramp halfway through the workout? Right. Like, you just got to kind of take it just one moment at a time and one movement at a time and just go from there. Yeah. So Wheelhouse or not, that's kind of like the same way I would approach every workout.
Do you get into a bubble, like a social media bubble, like trying to stay away from what others say during the competition?
Like, get away from social media, you mean?
Yeah,
or
you block it out.
No, I mean, I don't even really actively think about that stuff. I just kind of, I'm pretty simple. I just kind of just do me, and I'll listen to social media. I'll listen to podcasts. I'll listen to what people say, and literally none of it. I mean, I don't think any of it affects me at all in terms of like, like getting super nervous or anything like that, or stressed out about it.
I don't think a young rookie would have this attitude. Like, this is something that comes with some experience, I think. Even though this is your second time at the games, you talk like a very experienced athlete.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. I got a good coach for that too. He keeps me in a good space as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my mental coach for sure in terms of that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I've had my years of like being stressed out for things, and like it's just a different outlook, and
this is where
a lot less stressful in general if you don't think about it all the time.
So what part of this sport is most similar to wrestling, would you think?
I think essentially the whole thing in terms of I actually, like, I think that's the whole reason I did CrossFit in the first place. I wasn't a team sports guy. I played football and I played baseball and I did things like that, but I just really disliked them. But when it came to wrestling, it was all about who's going to work harder is who's going to win, or who's willing to die and who's willing to go harder is going to win.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of picked that up with CrossFit right away, because it's the same thing. Like, whatever we're doing in the off season, like when we're outside of the gym, when we're in the outside of competition, like when we're in the gym, like all that stuff plays a role. And I mean, the hardest workers, the ones who can stay disciplined, the ones who can stay focused, are the ones that are going to come out on top.
Yeah.
And more importantly, those are the ones that are going to make significant progress each year too, I would say. Yeah, because just staying in the gym, you can be your same fitness next year that you step on the floor too.
Yeah.
but like, are you going to push to become fitter? Yeah.
Right.
And hit PRs and all.
That's the thing with the athletes that have been staying current for like 10 years. That you realize. I looked at the the CrossFit Games 2013, something like that, and I saw the evolution of the sport is crazy. And I see faces there that are still going. I mean, it is crazy that they've been able to adapt for years.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. And keep getting fitter and fitter and fitter. And
not
the ones that idle are the ones that don't make it anymore.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So did you stay injury free during your wrestling, or did you did you transfer any of do you have any old bruises that you're still struggling with?
I don't know if I'm still struggling with it. Wrestling, I didn't have any injuries. I mean, other than maybe like a rolled ankle or like a jammed finger or a nasty crossface or something every now and again. Like there wasn't too bad there. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Sounds like a wonderful sport.
Taking a little bone of your forearm and just putting it right across the face. Yeah, that doesn't feel very good. But no, in football, I tore my MCL, PCL, and meniscus in my left knee, grade 3 tear. So I blew all of those out senior year, so I didn't actually get to wrestle my senior year.
All right.
Because there would have been too much torque and movement on it that soon that I mean, just the next season, like 2 months later, that I probably hurt it even more. But yeah, that was really the only injury other than I fractured my skull when I was in school too back in the day. But
just having fun. Just having fun.
That one was skateboarding.
Yeah, don't touch those.
Yeah. or wear a helmet.
Yeah, exactly.
So have you been you've had to manage your meniscus for the entire CrossFit career?
I started but I don't think it really gives me much injury or anything like that, or much pain. I do have some, obviously, like my left knee, there's like some pains in it. There's some there's just things that go wrong with it. Like sometimes it just likes to turn off, but I don't know if that's directly related to my meniscus and MCL and PCL and all that stuff. Or if that's just something that's muscular, that's just not engaging the right way or activating the right way.
All right.
Yeah, there's always some aches and pains and bruises and things that are going on.
I think it's just I'm just amazed by we talked to Scott a few weeks back when we were in Cleveland. I didn't realize that he got he was dragged off the field doing football. He blew both his knees, so he actually went into the sport with with 50% cartilage left, etc. I thought he got damaged doing CrossFit, but he's been damaged goods the entire time, and still managed him to get to the top as one of the absolute strongest in the field. Known as a strong squatter. But I also realized that he's been really good at managing his knees during his career. But it took 40 minutes for him to do do a 10-minute 40 minutes preparation to do a 10-minute workout. But so it is what it is. So basically that was what I was asking for, if you had been needing to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely some excessive warm-ups and definitely a lot of accessory and isometric work on my knees and basically just doing a bunch of that stuff to make sure that we're ready to go. Like in the morning, it's hard for me to get up and do an air squat in the morning, but I can squat 500 pounds after I get warmed up and mobilized. It's all good. Yeah.
So the hardest part is to squat and play with your kids, I guess.
Yeah. Right.
Sorry, Dad needs to warm up. Sorry, I need to put my knee sleeves on.
I'm at that age now. I'm getting old.
I had a brand new baby while having a herniated disc. I can tell you that wasn't awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, come back here.
Just constant pressure right here. Just
exactly. Yeah. Lying down with him and just I can't move. That wasn't. Don't recommend at all.
Definitely not.
Yeah. So how did you? I mean, I was watching the Capitol last year from a spectator view. That was one of my absolute favorite tests of all time. Standing there watching people totally break down. It was so intense. I was like, oh my god, watching Haley and everyone, and even even Kranikov, the top guys, I mean, you could like feel how tough it was. So how did you experience that?
Yeah, the Capitol was a great workout. I mean, and you kind of always look back at it and you're like, oh, I could have gone harder or whatever. But in the moment, it's like, no, I could not have gone harder.
No.
I think last year, something like odd objects, and moving loads like that was kind of a weakness for me. So that sandbag beat me up pretty good at the end there. When I was able to have it on my back and just sitting on top, I could run forever with it. But as soon as you put it in the bear hug position, it was a different level going up those stairs. And
there were some people that took like 10 minutes to get up there. So
literally, 3 times as long as it took to get the first 100 meters, it took you to get up there. Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a super fun workout to be a part of last year, just in general. I think the games in general last year was just a fun year to be a part of, just with the switch in programming, the different moves that came up, the demands that, I mean, in a sense, you could say the sport just changed over this last year.
Yeah.
Sure.
Adding in jump ropes and adding in the high complexity gymnastics things, and now speculation going to oh, what else can he throw at us?
Yeah.
I think in terms of what's to be expected, it definitely had a switch this last year.
Yeah, it's more of a spectacle. No, even though it was a switch from Castor, who is a showman, it went even more into the spectacle kind of
for
games.
Sure.
I loved it. It was great.
Yeah. What do you think? Am I going to even finish the workout? Kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think this year's Capitol will be?
Yeah, because that's what he said. He was like, everybody's finishing the workout or whatever with the Capitol.
Yeah. But do you think he's gonna try to one up that? He's gonna make an even more grand kind of long event like that?
I mean, I'm fine with that. I like that. I mean, it just adds to the experience too as an athlete. When I can come back and look at it in the years, I've been telling people, I'm like, even if I never won the CrossFit Games, the journey to try to get there has been great. I've been able to go to Ireland for competitions and do a bike ride in the morning through the hills of Ireland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've been able to go to Miami and do a sunrise beach workout out in the ocean. So, I mean, I think the better the spectacles definitely are more enjoyable for the athletes and I guess people to watch too and be a part of. But I don't know if he's going to add as much new as he did last year, but build off that and now make everybody, okay, here's the new stuff. Now let's put it in workouts. Let's put it in different variations and let's go after it. I'm sure there's going to be some new stuff too, but I think he's going to build off the old stuff as well. Yeah,
that's very interesting. I've always thought he would get more confidence and just go crazy, or go more towards crazy. But maybe he wants to sit tight and see the sport develop slowly. Who knows?
For sure. I mean, he's got years ahead too of continuing to adapt it and change it. And like I said, I think there's still going to be a lot of stuff that is new and a lot of things that, last year we had the buy-in with the row. If you didn't complete the row in a specific time, now you're done. Your workout's done. You can't even do the rest of it.
That was cool.
So I think something like that can be built off of okay, what if there's now a ski erg and you have to do a certain amount on the ski erg before you go into the next thing?
It could be consecutive like that.
Yeah.
You have to do this before this, or otherwise it's that's like an elimination basically.
Exactly. So
it's a lot to do.
There's a lot of things. I think, I think there's a lot.
You mentioned off-season comps. Are you gonna do you actively try to participate in as many as possible of those? Just to see the world, see new places?
For sure. Yeah.
You don't think that messes with your off-season training or whatever? Do you make any distinction there?
throughout the time, I've never really had kind of an off season. I mean,
You just train.
I just made the games for the last year and this year, right? So like all the other years leading up to that, while everybody like kind of thought about taking an off season in September, October, November, and then like start ramping things back up December, January, going into the Open.
Yeah.
Like my season would be over right after semifinals. So I would be training basically 2 weeks after that, all the way through everybody else's preparation and deload and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of gave me a leg up in terms of like developing my fitness and getting essentially getting ahead.
Yeah.
Whether that is actual physical or that's just the mental side of things, I don't know. But yeah. So I do like to, so going on that, then yes, I do just participate in that stuff in the off season too, just because I would be working out normally. Like I'm still doing classes at my affiliate, and like I can't just take 3 weeks off and feel fine. Like I mean, working out is just something I've done every single day since I was in 6th grade. So it's just a part of it. Yeah. To the degree and the intensity is different, obviously.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
But how do you prepare for a competition? Like if we say Wodapalooza or something like that, like do you start changing things just because a competition comes up, and how soon, like before the competition, do you start implementing preparations for like going into a competition to win?
So I mean, like for example, like the games to Rogue last year, going from the CrossFit Games at the beginning of August, and then Rogue was in October or end of October. So basically, I took probably a week off right after the games, and then went back into just kind of doing a Metcon and maybe an Oli piece a day for 2-3 weeks out of that after a little bit of a rest. And then
bless you.
Thank you. And then adding in, I think the biggest thing after that was adding in the second Metcon a day, or adding in the monostructural conditioning. And I feel like when it comes to cardio, you can build your cardio and you can prime your cardio up so much faster than you can strength.
Yeah.
So I think with having my biggest strength is my strength. So having that as kind of having that as my strength, I don't have to tune that up as much, because it's kind of, I can take 3-4 weeks off of doing back squats and I can still do 455 problem.
You don't lose that much.
I don't lose anything in terms of my strength. I stop. So basically it's just ramp back up. That's, I feel like, is an easier process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just take a break for a while and then slowly start ramping up.
Yeah. Basically. Just maybe a week totally off. I think this year might look a little bit different because I want to have a little bit of a life in the off season and do some fun things with some friends that we're planning. Instead of just be in the gym grinding and dying every single weekend. And always tell them, no, I can't go do this because I got to go train, or no, I can't go do this because I got to train. So I want to take a couple weeks, just stuff like that.
That gets old eventually.
For sure. Yeah. And I think this will be like the first year that I'm really actually actively doing that. So
my spouse took 2 months off. She was in age group last year, and she did really well. But she for the first time in her life, she like took time off. It was her coach who said you should take time off at least a month, or actually I'm not going to give you a program until like October 8th, I think it was something like that. So she was like, so like the first week she was not comfortable at all, but then she did like a box workout, and then I'm not gonna train. So she didn't train at all, for 2 months. That was crazy. That was crazy. But she's back now. She's fitter than she was last year. So it's I would never have been comfortable resting that much at all.
I'm good with that.
It's not my nature at all. It's like I enjoy so much, being in the grind. It's like, I wouldn't like that. Also training all my life. So but
it comes with age a little bit. You have to start resting more and be smart about it. Like when you're 20, 25, you can go nuts.
Yeah.
But then like 35.
But I think the biggest issue for me would be to trust that this is this really smart? Because I'm I'm an engineer, you know. It's like 2 months. Nah. It doesn't seem smart, and then I don't think it is smart. But I don't know. But it's if the issue is your ability to push throughout the winter, if you are limited by without knowing it, going into training and only doing 19 to 95%, then probably you need to back off to be able to push mentally. But if that's not any, I don't know. It's
some people are always in overtraining. Like they've been in overtraining for 10 years. Some people are just absolutely wrecked and they don't know it.
Yeah, I know, but it's it's I think there could be a debate around this for a long while.
I mean, and that's the buzzword now too, is like burnout, right? Like you see athletes getting burnt out because they don't have a life outside of CrossFit. Maybe that's not only it, but also just beating yourself into the ground every day is. It's not the most fun thing. At most times. You know what I mean?
It takes a certain someone to deal with it for over time. Sure. It does not, and you don't know, and with this kind of stuff until it's too late. But like, oh no, I'm broken. Like,
yeah, but just I mean, how many zone 4 workouts do these athletes do, or are all workouts high end zone 5? You have no clue how hard they train, so it's.
We don't know anything.
Yeah, we know nothing about it.
Zone 4, zone 5, twice a day.
Okay.
Exactly.
For
so,
every
40
day.
minutes. So.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cortisol.
But then on top of that, then we got the Oli and the strength stuff where you're. I mean, the amount of squats that I do in a week, or getting below parallel a week. Yeah, it all adds up. Yep.
Yeah, and then
like even just like you said, things. Friend, like.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine.
It's constantly new things that you need to do that just keeps adding on. Like, oh, I need to do my Oli. Oh, I need to do my swimming. Oh, I need to do my biking. I need to do my hiking. And it just keeps going. Like, you run out of time.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like it's also it's a philosophical thing. I think if you would like have 5,000 athletes put into this system. You put them through the meat grinder, and out comes 10 that survives it. That was, that was basically the Bulgarian method.
Basically open, huh?
Well, they did max outs 3 times a day. They did the snatch, the clean jerk, and then they did the front squat every day, 6 days a week. And then the back off day was Sundays, and they did only snatch, I think.
Yeah. They were on the wrong side of the Iron Curtain, weren't they?
So, yeah, sure. Sure, they had supplements as well, but it's like, but that system produced the absolute top, but it also like wasted the most amount of athletes as well. So there's proof that overtraining is the way to create the absolute top athletes, but it's also proof that overtraining, that amount wastes athletes. So it's I think it's. It's a long debate, I think.
No, it's pretty short. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't kill people. So,
well, it depends if you want. If you have a government-funded program and you want to win the Olympics.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
And the ethics are low or non-existent. Then
sure, no, I know.
I mean, that's where you get what Fraser and Froning, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and Tia.
Yeah.
There's been 3 that have stuck out years and years and years and years and years, and then there's been the other 5,000 or whatever that. I mean,
I think it's very interesting with Fraser.
There's some truth to both of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting with Fraser because he had 2 years. Was it 2 years? Yeah, 2 years when he was visibly in the public eye figuring it out. And then obviously he found what to do, 40-minute EMOMs or whatever it was. And then he just stuck to it, And
but how much of that, those 2 second places were his head though? You know what I mean? How much was that mindset?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I mean, you see all these like Tia, Froning, Fraser, right? They all took second their first year as a rookie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the other ones.
How much of that is mental, or did they already had the fitness? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
And there is quite a few that just didn't get back from that second place. That messed them up. So
you could just watch. I think it was Tia in 15. When did Tia came second. Was it 15?
15 and 14 and 15, right? No.
Well, I think anyway. I think it was in the games interviews during 15. There was such a difference between 15 and 16 when they did, during the games behind the scenes interview thing. 15, you could smell that she was losing. You could smell that. Even after the first interview they did, like the first.
She was a small dog.
She was, but it was all about how she spoke about everything. Yeah. But and the second year was like a completely different person. No wonder she won. It was like, So I think you're spot on about the mental things about it, for sure. So but physically she was probably a winner already year one.
Oh, right. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Or just still exceptionally good. Yeah, ahead of the field.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's gonna come back.
She is.
Yeah, she's doing burpees like the day after. So
she's gonna do it. I think she's gonna. I don't think she can stay away.
It's one of those.
Yeah, I was just down there training with him too. I think she's coming back.
Yeah.
She's doing good.
Yeah, she looks good. I mean, everything that she moves so well during her pregnancy was like. Is she even pregnant? I'm like 8.5 months pregnant. It's
like you could win when you're 8.5.
Yeah,
sort of.
Just off-season, that's all.
Yeah. All right, guys. Good talk. We're approaching our clock time here, and I have to say it was a very nice discussion, and super cool to check in with you. And we're going to see you in Madison because we're
we're traveling we're traveling next Saturday. Yeah.
Awesome. That'll be great.
Yeah. We're gonna bother you a lot. So
that's fine. That's fine with me. I got my coach though. He's the strict one. He's the strict one on times.
We'll pay him off.
Right.
There we go. Cool.
Yeah. All right, man. You take care, and you have a lovely day, and we're gonna go to bed.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, cool.
Thanks,
See you. Bye.
Have a nice one.
Bye.
Bye.